Okay, so I have a wacky theory that I would like to share with you guys. Okay, this is like pretty much my own theory. Like you know how Terrence McKenna made up his own shit. Well, I'm gonna make up my own shit here. Okay, just my own stuff here, just to get just to get us going here, just to stroke our curiosity. So, if you're familiar with the seven densities of existence. Basically, they correlate with the seven chakras. And each soul, I mean, soul is an individual part of God that is playing in a game in a time, which is the time space, and it's going from its beginning, from separation to oneness, back to its source. It's like God fragmented itself into these little pieces, and it's working its way back to its self, to its unity. And each part of it is in a different part of the game. Each part of it is in, like, you may be playing Call of Duty and you just started playing, so you're at early level, you're still trying to figure it out, but your friend have been playing for say 2 years, and your friend's like, he's like a veteran. Well, it's same thing, it's no different. So that's the same thing with the game of consciousness, the game of self-realization. Different souls are operating at a different level in the game. It's not better or worse. It just comes down to simply XP points. Really, it's very, very down to earth. There's nothing mystical about it. You could see it. It's practice. It comes down to practice, really. The more you practice, the better you get at something. The higher levels in the game you achieve. So, most humans are in the third level, third chakra, third density. Most human souls, but some human souls are fifth and sixth, and that would be the wanderers or the starseeds, the souls that are playing in a different game, and in that game, the people in that game, so that star system, have achieved higher levels simply due to them having played for much longer than the people of Earth, humans of Earth, and the animals of Earth. So, but some humans, 1%, 1 to 2% of the population, are sixth level. So let's say there's 7 levels, they're sixth level. So that's starseeds, that's wanderers, okay? And so you can't say all humans are third level, third density, because some humans, 1 to 2, 1 to 3%, 1 to 2%, are sixth level, okay? So now plants and animals are second level, second density. So they're just a level before humans. But that doesn't mean all animals and plants in the plant kingdom, it doesn't mean they're all second level. Some of them are also probably fifth and sixth and maybe seventh, possibly. I don't know if seventh level comes down to play in these games, in these levels. I think it is possible. It's rare, but it happens. So then we can also say, much like we can make the general statement that human souls, human beings are third density, third, power chakra, third chakra. It's a general statement, but there are exception. 1 to 3% of the population is exception. Then who's to say that 1% of the animal kingdom, 1 to 3% of the animal kingdom, isn't also an exception? That they're simply higher evolved souls vibrating at higher levels, but incarnated in 2D bodies, just like starseeds, human starseeds. So you could think of them as plant starseeds and animal starseeds, animal wanderers and plant kingdom wanderers. So I remember when I took a course on Buddhism and I was reading these Buddhist texts, and these Buddhist texts, they described many stories of Buddha, Gautama, the soul that is Gautama, incarnating in animal form to teach certain animals certain lessons. So if we say Gautama Buddha is seventh density, let's say, okay, let's say he was like at the very top. That soul was at the very top, and it was incarnating in humans in 2D bodies to teach certain animals lessons, and incarnated as Gautama, third density body, also a seventh density soul in a third density body to teach humans certain lessons. So then my theory is psilocybin mushrooms. It's a 2D body. It's a fungus. It's plant kingdom, let's call it. Okay, fungus is different, but let's just call it. call it all plant kingdom, okay? So plant kingdom, the 2D body, but the souls that incarnate in that 2D body are elite souls, 6th density and 7th density also. So when you do ingest a psilocybin mushroom, you're taking on a 7th density consciousness. That's why but the thing is, it's not, it's also mixed with your own consciousness. And I talked in the previous video how psychedelics do not enlighten people. If you're a 3rd density body, it's a complex reaction, because if you're a 3rd density soul in a 3D body, and you eat this thing, now this thing, it's a 2D body, but let's say it's a 7th density soul incarnated in that 2D body. It's a chemical reaction. It doesn't mean you're gonna get enlightened. It just means you're gonna level up in your experience. So if you're a 6th density soul, like say I am a 6th density soul, right, in a 3D body, and I take this 2D body, I use the 2D body, so it's a 2D body reaction with a 3D body, a 6D soul reaction with a 7D soul. And then that's why people have completely different experiences on psychedelics. Some people will get into the 7th chakra and feel blissful and ecstatic union with the universe. Some people will get into wisdom. Some people will just go a step further into the heart. It really depends. It really depends, right? But my theory is that you have 6th and 7th density souls incarnated, and most likely 7th density, incarnated into these 2D bodies. And so the difference is when you ingest a psilocybin mushroom, you experience higher consciousness, as opposed to when you eat just a regular non-psychoactive mushroom. Because that non-psychoactive mushroom is a 2D body with a 2D soul in it, in all likelihood. So it's just a 2D. You're still in a 2D, or maybe a 3D soul in it. Yeah, I don't know, but it definitely it's not associated with higher consciousness. But when you eat a mushroom, suddenly you're in communication with a Buddha, a 7th density. Buddha means awakened. You're suddenly in communication with the 7th density soul, and that's why they often appear as teachers. And it is a teacher. Often you do feel like you're in the presence of a teacher. It could be a 7th density or 6th density, but it's some very, very highly evolved souls. And so it seems to me, it's my theory, is the psilocybin mushrooms are reserved, and they're basically reserved. So whenever back in the astral, when the whole thing takes place, and the soul decides which body it wants to pick for incarnation and etc., it seems to me that the class of psilocybin mushrooms is reserved for elite souls. Just like if you wanted to play in an elite football team, you would go to FC Barcelona or Real Madrid or Liverpool. Those are right now the elite clubs. So you're not just going to be suddenly playing on the streets and suddenly you're playing for FC Barcelona or for Liverpool or for Real Madrid. You've got to be an elite player to be able to play in those, to incarnate in those teams. And in the same way, it seems to me that psilocybin mushrooms are like the Barcelona and the Madrid and the Liverpool of the plant kingdom. So only elite souls can actually take on the body of a psilocybin mushroom. Seems to me like that. Anyway, it's my theory, but it seems plausible. It seems possible and plausible and probable, actually. Let me say also, it seems probable to me, because everything has a certain consciousness to it. Everything seems to have a certain vibration, and these are very high vibrational beings. When you ingest psilocybin mushrooms, it's a very, very high vibrational wisdom. Something in there. It's a certain consciousness that's clearly vibrating at a very high rate. 6th or 7th. Without a doubt. And so you cannot incarnate in a psilocybin mushroom if you haven't made it that far. And sometimes I would be walking in the woods, in the jungle, and one tree would just, wow, it would just like suck me into it. So that particular tree could also be a 6 density, a Buddha, let's say, a 6 or 7 density being incarnated in that particular tree. You see, to take care of that, to teach that forest some lessons, because it's all 2D bodies and 2D souls, to teach the trees a certain lesson. And so that's why often you will have a particular tree or a particular part of the tree of the woods, of the jungle. Like you just walk in there, and it's like holy, and you sometimes just start crying because I feel I'm in the presence of like higher wisdom, some higher vibrational thing, and I don't feel it in other parts of the forest. That could be also a team in the jungle that's also reserved exclusively for the elite souls. You see, it's just like there's FC Barcelona. That's the bar. That's their training ground. That's the Camp Nou. Right there that's their stadium. In the jungle, that's their stadium, and so they're here, and they're also to teach, to enlighten the 2D kingdom, the plant kingdom. So much like a higher density soul can be in a 3D body, human body, a higher density soul can also be in a 2D body. That is an animal, that is a plant. And it's the same thing with animals. Again, there are countless of stories in Buddhist texts of Buddha incarnating as a rabbit, as a snake, as this and that, to teach the other rabbits lessons, to teach the other snakes lessons. So it's the same thing, you know. Sometimes you will meet animals that just resonate such a high vibration, and those could be, again, that 1%. They could also be the same as the human percentage. It could be 1 to 3% of animals, 1 to 3% of plants are higher vibrational souls incarnated in plants, incarnated in animals, for a higher purpose, essentially, for the higher good, the common good of all. You see? So yeah, you could think of them as the wanderers, the starseeds of the 2D, the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom. And that's pretty cool to see how all the because it's all one, the law of one, right? It's all one thing. I'm thinking also, when I finish the book Man's Higher Consciousness, because I'm reading it right now, I'm reading it to you guys as well, is to do the law of one, because a lot of you guys seem to be interested in that book. And this is all, my theories, I would say, are largely based on my understanding of the law of one. This theory that I'm coming up with here, it's based on my understanding of the law of one. So I probably will read it after Man's Higher Consciousness. It's a gem, it really is. So very interesting to see the law of one at play, to see the intricate way in which all the densities coexist and are intertwined together. It's really beautiful, actually. It's really, really beautiful. So if you're still confused about this, look into the law of one, look into the 7 densities of existence. I have a 53-minute video on it. Just go a little, you know, you can type it in, 7 densities of existence, Saeed Mubayyad, type it in on YouTube. Very interesting stuff. Check it out. Really, really cool. So obviously we'll talk more about that. I'm probably gonna read the law of one when I'm done the Man's Higher Consciousness. Thank you to all the Patreons for your support. I love you guys. Thank you so much. If you have a couple of bucks a month to spare, you can do so. Links for Patreon, for PayPal donations, one time, are in the description. Saeed Mubayyad at Instagram. And until next time, may the force be with you.